If you are new to weekly planning or new to planning in general, today I'll share how I plan to give you some ideas. Keep watching to see how I plan my week as a stay-at-home mom of 4. Today I'm going to be planning the week of August 22nd to August the 28th in my Plum Paper Vertical Priorities Planner. This is the 7x9 size. I want to start off by saying that planning is something that I haven't always done as a mom. I've had planners and calendars and always stayed on top of appointments and events, but as far as sitting down and intentionally deciding what my day will look like, that started for me in January of 2021. I don't know if planning this way would have helped when I was in the newborn, toddler, sleepless nights, like the survival mode phases of being a mom. So if that's where you are right now, and you're new to planning, I would suggest that you just use a simple calendar and work off a to-do list. This way you can just brain dump. Like, for example, you can use just a blank lined page somewhere to list off the things that you want to complete, and you're not actually assigning them to a day that you want to get them done. It'll help you so that you don't have to keep all those things living up in your head. I know for me, once I started planning like the way I do now, where I sit down and intentionally plan my day, having a place where I can write down things so that they're not just living in my head and I don't have to remember them has been extremely helpful. So I know just that alone would have been a big help when my kids were little, because your brain, you have what do they call it, mom brain, right? And it's so weird how as soon as you start having kids, you just can't think straight and you can't focus. And I'm pretty darn sure it's the stress and the lack of sleep. So if that's the phase and that's the season of life that you are in, diving into planning and sitting down and every single day, this is what I'm going to do, that might not be the best place for you right now. It might be better for you to just have a notebook to write down thoughts as they come that you can reference every once in a while and cross things off, as they get done, whenever they fit in to your schedule, because you are very busy taking care of babies and toddlers, and there's little time in between. So if that makes sense to you, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can dig deeper into planning when your baby's sleeping, when your baby's sleep schedule gets more consistent. And for you, lean into just napping when the baby sleeps and leave focusing on productivity and getting things done until later. Okay, so back to this week. I'm gonna do something a little bit different this week than I have before, because the kids are full swing in school, and this week in particular, there are multiple appointments. Normally I don't have that many appointments going on to keep track of. So I think what I want to do with these two sections is, one is going to be a box of for my kids things related to them, and then I'm gonna use this other section for myself, the appointments and meetings that I have to no, so that I can easily look at this and see like, this is what's happening with them, related to them, and this is what's happening related to me. And I think for the way this week is going to be, that might be a little bit helpful. I like having a week view like this to keep me focused on just what's going on right now, and to kind of help me prepare mentally at the beginning of the week going in, so that I feel more prepared. It's easier to look at this, and I tried this for a little while. There was a period of time where I tried to only go off of using a month view, and then going from a month view to like a daily page and not having a weekly overview, and I did not like it. It felt overwhelming to constantly, and I was doing it every day, because every day I sat down to do a daily plan, and that meant I'd have to look at my monthly view to see, and that made me see the whole month, and I don't want to see my whole month all the time. So the way I do this is I sit down and I look at my month, and I'm not going to show you my month for privacy reasons, but I can show you a blank month. Hold on. That one has some notes on it. So does that one. Let's see. So yeah, I look at the month view, and this is where I put all the appointments and events when they come up. But I don't set this up until about 2 weeks before the month starts, where I put that information. Let's say I have events already planned. Let's say there's a doctor's appointment on the 19th of January. There isn't, but let's just say there is. I don't put it on here. What I do is at the front of this particular planner, there are some boxes, and I think I can show you, not the exact ones that I use, but I can show you the next set, because it comes with like 2 sets of boxes, and I had plans to set this up, but I never did. So on the other side of this, it's broken down by months, and I have it starting I have it starting in June, because this planner, I got it to start in June. So it's got June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. And when an appointment comes up, I go to that particular month and I write it down in here. And then that way, before I set up my month, I look here, look for that month, and I have all the appointments that are already done. And then once we're in the month, anything that gets added just goes straight to the month view instead of over there. And that way it helps me kind of see all the plans happening in the whole year, essentially, rather than if I were to like put a sticky note on the month view saying like this is happening when, it would cause me to like flip through all the months. And or if I don't remember, let's say I made an appointment for a dentist appointment, you know, we schedule those every 6 months. I don't remember what month my dentist appointment is. I can just go to the front of the planner to those boxes, and I will be able to quickly find it. So that's just how I use that. But so today, this is just going to be highlighter and pen. I'm not actually going to fill in all of the things, like all the appointments, because that's personal, but I am going to fill in the headers, so like I explained how they're going to be, and then I am going to create a section for the chores, and I'm going to reference my cleaning calendar that I have in my other planner. So I'll be able to, so I'm going to write down, let's see, all of these chores. I'm going to fill those in a section, and I'll probably speed through this part a little bit. I usually use this for sort of self-care habits. So things like taking my vitamins. Sometimes I do journaling. Sometimes I do yoga every day, so I don't need to do this. It's like a habit that's built in. I always do it right before I go to sleep. So I don't need it there to necessarily remind me for the yoga habit, but there was a time where I used this to challenge myself to do a certain amount of yoga. I get into a habit of only doing like 10 minutes, and if I feel like I want to challenge myself and do more, like if I'm not following a yoga calendar, then I have used this to say yoga, more than 20 minutes. And that has helped me kind of remind myself, because I do reference this every day when I sit down to do my daily plan. For example, when Monday comes, I will open this up and I will look at Monday, write down all the things that are supposed to get done on Monday, and I will also like reference back to the week before if there are any tasks that I had and to-dos. Usually it's chores that didn't get completed last week that I might need to carry over this week. I will go ahead and add those here. But since the day I'm filming this, it's Friday the 19th, so I don't really know yet what things are going to get carried over, because I still have the rest of today and the weekend to potentially get that stuff done. But I will go ahead and stop rambling and start setting this week up, and then I will come back once it's done to explain anything else. Okay, so that is my week. Like I said, I wasn't going to put in what the appointments are and the times of things for my kids or myself because privacy, but you get the idea. I usually have another section for to-dos, but I may or may not add that in later. What I could do is, if there is something that comes up that I'm like, I want to do that on that day, I might just stick it right there in the important section, or I could come back later and decide to just add another like section across for to-dos. But since I use a daily planner, usually my like day-to-day to-dos end up living there, and I will probably use this. Sometimes I use it in this way. If there is something that I want to do that doesn't have to get done on a particular day, I have been using this space as like a this week section. I don't like fill it up with a ton of things, but that's usually kind of how I use it. And I do also have a page next to my August dashboard that is a brain dump of just things to do. It's not necessarily things that have to all get done in this month, but it was just at the beginning of the month, I like to just sit down and just write out a list of things or carry over things from the previous month that didn't get done, so that I can just have all of my tasks in like one spot to look at, so that I don't have things in multiple different places. I found that just for the way my brain works, it's just easier that way to just have things like that in like one location, as opposed to like separating them into different categories or sections. But anyway, I hope that you found this helpful in helping you figure out how you are going to plan your week. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and I will leave a link in the description for Plum Paper. It's not an affiliate link, but if you are interested in shopping them, I will leave the link down there to make it easier for you. And if you aren't already, go ahead and subscribe if you like this. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff when it comes to like functional planning as a mom. And yeah, well, if you are subscribed, then I will see you in the next one. Bye.